afternoon, people. Good afternoon. I didn't do it live this time. I just recorded it in advance and thought, let me see how this goes. So, I've been reading Judges for a while. I keep going back and forth with it. Excuse me. I keep going back and forth. Keep going back and forth with Judges. Until I got to the Judges 16, Judges 14, 15, 11, where they started talking about Samson. Now, I don't know if any of you guys have heard about the story of Samson, but Samson was chosen from the womb. God chose his parents to give birth to a strong man with unsurmountable strength, Excuse me, because I'm just still learning. Because of that he would grow locks of hair and his hair would be his strength. So God gave him a gift, as he has given all of us gifts, to have unsurmountable strength, to be able to fight for him, haven't finished Judges, so I'm not quite acquainted with the entire story, but for some of it that I grasped was about so he was in love, and he had as he got older, as a man, he grew big and strong, tall, dark, handsome, a tall, dark, big man with long locks, and that was his strength. And it was really a secret, because of course people have enemies, right? Don't we all have people who just don't like us or in that negative vibe? And you don't want them to know. Well, he didn't want them to. God didn't reveal, because then you'll have a lot of people coming at you, I guess. Enemies, people trying to take you down, especially with that strength. You get haters, or how we label them, right? So he got older, he married, and then some things happened that I'm not really sure or clear about, where he ended up not having that wife. I think it was from like a different tribe, or he ended up not having that wife, and then his wife ended up being given to his brother, and then he had to live with that heartache. Goes to show heartache. So I was just trying to relate what I was reading to the live I did the other day, about abuse, and it stems from not only you be in an abusive relationship, it stems from other things. It's rooted, sometimes when we're children, we grow up and we see our parents going through that kind of stuff, being abused mentally, emotionally, and we think that's normal, or we just are so used to or accustomed to seeing it that we just look beyond it. We pay it no mind, or we find comfort in it, and we think that it's okay when it's not, So going back to the story, abuse can stem from different forms. You know what I mean? It can come from your parents who weren't taught how to parent well, or weren't mindful, or it can come in different shapes and forms. Different people in your life, you can experience abuse from different people, not just the relationship with a male and female. As far as lovers goes. So anyways, back to this. So he was heartbroken, of course, because he didn't get to get his wife. So like in Judges 16, it starts talking about how Samson went to Zerath or something like that, some different city of where he was from, and he ended up laying up with a prostitute. That was part of the Philistines, like a different tribe, different people. And people were really giving him the side eye and not looking at him right. You know what I mean? So anyways, they were out to get him. It was a butterfly. I'm so distracted easily. They were out to get him. And let me show y'all this, because I have to. I don't even know how to change this camera. Never mind. It was a butterfly. This is my environment. So anyways, he was there. He laid up with some prostitute, and the Philistines came to that prostitute after overhearing that they were with him. Or I guess they had his eye on him or whatever. And they were asking the prostitute, her name was Delilah, to try to get him, like lure him into finding out what his weakness was. Now, mind you, he was just laid up with her, and although given a gift from God, some people were in different parts of their journey. She kept trying to nag him, and like on three different occasions, they like explain like on three different occasions, she tried to get it out of him, and he would say, "Well, get seven seven strings of the harp, or something like that. Seven strings that haven't been dried out, and tie me up in them." So he would give her a hint on what to do. That, okay, oh, this is my weakness. If you do this, this is my weakness. Tie me up with seven strings of the harp, or seven threads, or whatever. So he gave her three different, basically lies of what his weakness was. And each time he gave it to her, she would try it out. So tie him up, and then call out, "Philistines, Philistines," and boom, these dudes was in the background hiding, for wherever, he was having a laid up session with this prostitute Delilah, you know, and they would come in and try to attack him, and he would break free, because obviously that wasn't his weakness. So you would think this man, after the first time he lays up with this woman who's trying to find out his weakness, he would see the red flags, and be like, man, this woman's trying to get to me, or trying to set me up. And then with her screaming, "Philistine, Philistine," you would think he won't lay up with her again. But for some reason, he laid up with her again and was around her again. And when it wasn't successful, she would come back, and of course she's luring this man through lust, through obviously sex, he was heartbroken from what happened with the brother and not having that wife, you know what I mean? So he's out here looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for pub in all the wrong places, you know what I mean? Don't we all get there? And we settle for less. And so we seeing these red flags, or he's seeing these red flags, but ignoring them. That's how we do, we ignore them, right? We see certain things that we know probably aren't good for us, or we're not wanting to deal with, but we are passive about it. So we continue. So he lays up with this woman again. Boom. He says, get 7 new ropes, hand-tied ropes that have never been used, or whatever. There are details. He's given 3 different scenarios, 3 different materials or tools to try to. Same question. "Oh, honey, you lied to me, baby. You lied to me. Why you ain't telling me the truth? Tell me the truth. What will make make you weak?" In other words, and like he gonna be like, "Yeah, baby, I'll tell you what make me weak, because you just tried to get me." But think about it in his sense, like he laid up back with her. So how many times we don't forgive it? Laid up back with the enemy, or who we're not completely sure if they're the enemy or not. You know what I mean? We're just giving it another chance just to have companionship, or or we refuse to have that person. We just want somebody around, so we just settle for whatever. So he goes back. 7 ropes. So he allows her. So goes back, to saying what I wanted to say in the other life. Like, people only do what we allow them to do, because we choose to be passive, or we choose to continue being around these people for whatever reasons, whether we're attracted to them, whether we convenience whoever's around for the moment, to comfort our loneliness, or because the person looks good or talks good or does things well, sexually. You know what I mean? So we've all been there. So right, goes again. So she's like, he lets her tie her up. Sounds kind of freaky. He lets her tie him up with the ropes. And you would think, like, I'm over here, why is it not mentioning his logic? But whatever. So she ties him up. "Philistines, Philistines." Part 2, second time. "Philistine, Philistine." Boom, these men come out the cut from wherever they are and try to get him. Rah! He demonstrates his strength again, breaks free from the ropes, and, smashes them. Yomp, 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 whatever. I know I'm trying to, like, make it pertain to, what we would know, right? And, of course, I'm, like, interrupting because I'm trying to make logic of it all, right? So, trying to, like, illustrate the story of what I read. And I don't know all the details correctly, because I do have the Bible in front of me, but I would make this way longer if I tried. But it's just to illustrate. Some of us don't know the story, right? So, and forgive me if I'm not equipped to tell the whole story correctly, but I just want to shine light on that, because, I'm kind of illustrating how sometimes we are passive when we see red flags. Sometimes we know we don't know our gifts. You know, he knew his gift, and we know that we've crossed people that are snakes, you know, in our life, and we don't know it until hindsight. We don't know it until we go back and reflect upon it, you know, or we see some signs and we're just passive. So to me, when I read it and what I took it in and what I wanted to talk about had to relate to some of the relationships we have in our life. So anyway, so boom, third time, I can't really recall. I wanted to continue reading it 1,000 times so I can really have facts. But there was the third time, and they tried a different tool, you know. So he allowed this woman in a third time, you know, how, relating back to what I was saying before. You keep forgiving, thinking this person's going to change. But this person, you can tell that Samson was just around her for the company, for maybe she was beautiful, and he thought, you know, it would fill a void of loneliness, you know what I mean? And she had traits or characteristics that he wanted to be around. So for whatever reason, he continued to know that this woman was sitting there trying to set him up, you know, like Lil' Kim as a rock him to sleep, make him think the drama is dead. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff, you know? That's how it came across to me. So here she go, third time. Boom, he broke free again. So boom, here go another time. He lays up with the woman again, is in her company again, and the woman has already, you know, she trying to break him down. You know, he's already vulnerable, obviously, because he continues being around this specific woman after she's betrayed him several times. You know, and she's like, but baby, you know, I can only imagine what she said, but baby, you know, I don't even know what kind of excuse she would give for calling the Philistine, you know what I mean? Calling the other tribe or having them, you know, set up. And he's around her for the fourth time. But this time she broke him down. She would keep nagging and nagging and nagging. And, oh, but, you know, imagine what a person will have their words honey, sweet, manipulative, you know, to try to get you to finally trust or finally give in. Like, okay, I'll tell you. So this man, even though he saw the red flags, he went ahead and told Miss Delilah about what his strength was. Oh, the third time was, I just remember, the third time was he told her to weave 7 locks of his hair, you know, 2 poles and tie him up with that, and it didn't work. So the fourth time, so like at the third time, he's like wearing down. He went from strings to ropes, you know, violin strings or harp strings that are strong, you know, to ropes, to finally the locks of his hair. So she wearing him down by being consistent, persistent. How many of us women will be having people in our inbox or people trying to pursue you, be like, no, I'm not ready, no thank you, for whatever reason, and persistence to have your attention. You know, someone who's persistent or someone who continues. You know, it's like water. They use it as torture. You know what I mean? They use water, and the more water, you can drown a person with water. You can wear away rock with water. You know, if it's persistent enough, consistent enough, if a substance is consistent enough, if a person is consistent enough, if words are consistent enough, whether they're negative or positive, you'll see an outcome or a change. You know? So anyways, fourth time around, he finally told her, at this point, they're probably more comfortable. He's been more comfortable around her. She's giving him more of his needs, meeting more of his needs, regardless. And Mr. Samson is being passive at this point of the 3 times she's already betrayed him, but he still kept coming around to be around her and spend time with her or whatever. So knowing this, you know, and he's probably think about his logic too, like, I'm a strong man, can't nobody get to me, blah, blah, blah. And yet you revealed your weakness. So how many times we done got to points where we reveal our weakness to certain people because we think we can confide in them, and they've shown us betrayal plenty of times, or they've shown us that, you know, they can't be trusted, but we're passive, or we have to believe in them, or maybe we just want to believe in someone so bad we just go ahead and do it. So anyway, so Samson, it was his demise, you know, his fall. He tells her that it's his hair. She rocks him to sleep, make him think the drama is dead. He falls asleep on her lap. Miss Delilah. Samson falls asleep on her lap, okay? And she has scissors, and while he sleeps, she cuts his locks, cuts his hair, his strength. And he thinking God has left him at this point when he wakes up, Philistine, and they attacked him and actually were able to keep him captive in Gaza, or something like that. They captured him. They ended up taken out his eyeballs, and so he was wearing blind, like a blindfold. He couldn't see, so now his senses are sharpened because it has to be able to hear, but he has to adapt. You know what I mean? He can't see. The woman done rocked him to sleep, make him think the drama is dead. He trusted this individual. She betrayed him. Now he trusted her with his